Super Rugby Aotearoa 2021, Crusaders against the Hurricanes. As you guys can see, I've moved house. If you've seen my videos before, I'm in a new house. This chair's pretty squeaky, but yeah, we'll see how things go. Work in progress. Hopefully better than yesterday, one for the Chiefs and the Highlanders. But man, in terms of the game, rather than my video, that was a cracker. This game on Sunday is going to have a bit to live up to. Remember, Sunday is the day because with New Zealand having been in a stricter lockdown for the last 7 days, on Sunday the lockdown is going to be relaxed. So it's still level 2 here in Auckland, which has got restrictions on gatherings and whatnot, but it'll be level 1 in Christchurch. So in theory, if this game wants to sell out, it can sell out. So if you guys attempted to go to the Crusaders and the Hurricanes, why not? Should be a cracking game. 4:35 on Sunday is the game time. There will be a crowd in attendance, like I mentioned. Only one round in for both these teams. The Crusaders looked pretty good against the Highlanders. Still not perfect. They had 2 yellow cards. They had 15 penalties conceded. But their maul defense was just phenomenal. And overall, they were just a better team against the Highlanders, who looked better against the Chiefs. Whereas the Hurricanes, they lost 31-16 to the Blues at home, which was a pretty gutting result for them, especially after going into the halftime break in the lead. But if you look at the similarities, 2 yellow cards and 15 penalties conceded. You can't make this stuff up. Both sides had the same disciplinary record last week. So the referees are pretty hot on the old penalties, so you're just going to have to stay on side. You can't muck around at the breakdown. It's going to be very strictly policed. In terms of the lineups, there's not too many changes. The Crusaders have kept it pretty similar. Moody, Taylor, Alatoa front row. Scott Barrett still captain alongside Sam Whitelock in the second row. Blackadder, Christie and Colin Grace is the same back row, so it's pretty much the same. There is Drummond, who swapped places with Bryn Hall. They do that a lot though, the Crusaders. They switch those 2 guys around, so it's Drummond's turn to start this week. Mwonga's still there at 10. McLeod and Goodhue same midfield. Fainganuku, Reese are the wingers. And man, Reese was probably the player of the week last week. This week it'll be Ngareki. I can't imagine anybody beats that performance from last night, but you never know. And David Havili, good news, is back. He's at fullback. And also good news is Will Jordan's back at fullback as well. Otherwise, things are pretty stable. For the Hurricanes, Armstrong, Almua, Lomax is the same front row. I feel like Lomax needs a good game. Like the Blues front row with Lay starting wasn't exactly a hugely experienced front row in last week's game. But the Hurricanes didn't really get on top there. So up against Moody, Taylor, Alatoa, that's an all-international front row. The Hurricanes may be under a bit of pressure. But Almua had a hell of a game. 50-odd run meters, 2 tries. He was just smashing things up. So him against Taylor at the moment is maybe the 2 informed hookers in New Zealand rugby. Blackwell is there alongside Walker Leawere in the second row because Scrafton's got an injury. He's not available. Princep comes in at 6. There's no Fafita. I didn't read that he's injured, but he's not in the squad. Karifi gets a start instead of starting from the bench last week like he did, and Savia moves from 7 to 8 to accommodate Karifi starting. Tamutene and Garnavash at 9-10. Laumape and Peter Umaga-Jensen are 12-13, so Peter Umaga-Jensen swaps with Billy Proctor in the 13 jersey. Laumape was pretty quiet last week, man. Like, he was up against Harry Plummer. He should have been having a field day, and he ends up with, like, what, 4 run meters and 1 defender beaten. It's pretty quiet. So he'll be hoping for a better night. Savia, Hussein, that's Julian, and Geordie Barrett are the back 3. Geordie can still punish you anywhere from basically 60 metres out if the Crusaders are going to concede penalties. But remember, the Hurricanes can concede penalties as well, and Havili's got a pretty big boot on him too. So yeah, discipline may be key. Some guys who maybe didn't stand up last week will need to make themselves accounted, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. The bookies have got the Crusaders by 12 points at home, and the Rugby Forecast algorithm has also got the Crusaders by 12 points. So they're pretty hot favourites for this one. I will be watching it, provided I can get more of this stuff settled into my house. God, who would move house, man? I'm not moving house for another, what, 10 years? That sucks. Anyway, it's got to be done. 34-32 was the score in 2020. a lot's being made of it, kind of rightly so, I guess, because it was the first time the Crusaders lost at home in a bloody long time. But yeah, we'll see how things go, man. I can't see the Hurricanes doing it 2 years in a row, but I hope it's a good game. I hope the Hurricanes don't fall into the trap of trying to use the wrong tactics against the Crusaders. But the Crusaders are not immortal. They proved that last year. So we'll see what happens. You guys let me know your thoughts. Talk to you again soon. See you later.